I stood there in my Halloween costume, black wings, red lipstick, tequila breath, and watched the only man I ever truly wanted walk away, hand in hand with someone else. I thought I had time. I thought he'd wait. I thought I could have my fun and then circle back when I was ready. But what no one tells you is that timing is everything. That love doesn't wait politely in the background while you chase your chaos. That when someone offers you real affection, no games, no ego, just steady care, you don't get to hit pause until it's convenient. I wanted to be wild and wanted to be wanted. But now I'm just alone. Watching him build a life with someone else. Watching the door I thought I could reopen slam shut in my face. And the worst part? It was all my fault. Before I tell you what happened next, make sure you're watching this alone, because I'm about to confess everything I never said out loud. I should have known from the moment I kissed him on that rooftop. That I was holding something rare, something fragile. Something I would drop. But I didn't know. Not really. Not until it was already broken. We were just friends. Or that's what I told myself. Back then, everything was about freedom. Late-night Ubers to nowhere. Phone numbers I'd never save. Girls' brunches that turned into wild weekends. I told myself I needed this. That after the mess I'd been through, the best thing I could do was stay unattached. Unapologetic. Unreachable. And then there was Caleb. He wasn't supposed to be important. He wasn't flashy or loud or the kind of guy I usually looked at twice. But he was there. Every time. In the quiet ways that make you feel seen. It started small, post-breakup coffees, the kind where you laugh too hard over the worst parts. Then, we'd meet at the park. Then we were cooking pasta at his place. Then it was 3 a.m., and I was curled up on his couch, wondering how it got so easy to breathe around him. He never made a move. Not really. But the space between us always felt like it was holding something. And then one night, it all changed. We were watching some dumb movie I don't even remember, and I said something stupid, and he laughed, like, really laughed. I looked at him, and for a second, I forgot every rule I'd made for myself. So I kissed him. It wasn't planned. It wasn't logical. It just happened. And when I pulled away, he looked right into me and said, "I've wanted to do that for months." My stomach flipped. My heart cracked open. But so did my fear. "I'm not ready," I blurted, instantly regretting it. He pulled back slightly. "What?" "I like you. God, I like you more than I should. But I promised myself I'd stay single this year. That I'd have my wild phase and not get tied down. I need that first." He went quiet. Then nodded. "Okay. I get it." But the look in his eyes? It said something else. I thought honesty would make it easier. That he'd appreciate me being upfront. I thought he'd wait. He didn't. The next few weeks felt different. We still hung out, technically. But the texts slowed. The inside jokes faded. He stopped inviting me to things unless there were other people around. And it wasn't just the absence of romance, it was the absence of us. I told myself I was fine. I downloaded the dating apps. Went to clubs. Wore the outfits. Took the selfies. Laughed too loudly and kissed strangers I didn't care about. I was doing what I said I'd do. But every night, when I wiped off the makeup and crawled into bed, I'd check my phone. No texts from Caleb. And somehow, that hurt more than the silence after any of those forgettable dates. Then I saw him with her. It was a Sunday, some random pop-up market downtown. He was with a girl I'd never seen before, pretty, sure, but not flashy. Not the kind I thought he'd go for. She had paint on her jeans and sunglasses in her hair, and he looked happy. Not nervous. Not uncertain. Just light. I ducked behind a booth like an idiot, heart racing. And it hit me, he wasn't waiting. Why would he? I'd told him to let me go. I just never expected him to actually listen. Is that Caleb? My friend Mia asked when I showed her the photo later. I nodded, swallowing hard. Guess he moved on. She raised an eyebrow. Weren't you the one who said you didn't want anything serious? Yeah, but I hesitated. It's not that I didn't want him. I just wanted both the fun and the option to have him later. Mia didn't say anything. She just gave me that look. The one that says, you're not the victim here. A week later, we all ended up at the same party. He was there with her. They weren't holding hands or anything, but the space between them wasn't empty. It was filled with something unspoken. Something I used to know. I tried to act cool. I flirted with some finance guy and laughed louder than I needed to. But every time I looked over, Caleb was smiling at her. That smile used to be mine. So I did something dumb. I walked up to him when she went to the bathroom. Hey. He looked surprised. Hey, Harper. His voice was friendly. Too friendly. You good? I asked, pretending like we were still casual. Yeah. I'm good. I hesitated, then forced a smile. She seems nice. She is. I took a sip of my drink to kill the sting. So, you're like, dating now? He shrugged. I'm not putting labels on it. But yeah. We've been spending time together. I nodded. Cool. That's cool. He looked at me for a moment. You okay? Totally, I lied. This was the plan, right? We both said we wanted freedom. He smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. You said that. I just listened. And just like that, he turned away. I watched him walk back to her, pick up right where they left off, smiling, soft, effortless. And I realized something brutal. I had mistaken his patience for permanence. I thought I could press pause on something real and return when it suited me. But love doesn't work like that. And now, he's slipping further away. I couldn't stop checking her Instagram. It started as a casual scroll, just wanting to see who this girl was. But it turned into a daily ritual. Every photo, every story, every comment from Caleb. I memorized her outfits. Counted how many times he liked her posts. I became obsessed in a way I couldn't admit to anyone. And the worst part? She was normal. Not stunning, not wildly cool, not intimidating. She was nice. That made it worse. Because it meant he didn't leave me for something shiny or exciting, he left for peace. For someone who didn't treat his heart like an optional feature. I told myself I was just curious. But really, I was spiraling. And when I heard they were officially together, something in me snapped. I started posting more, nights out, new flings, every filtered smile a curated attack. I wanted Caleb to see what he was missing. That I was fine. Thriving. But none of it felt good. Not really. I'd go on dates and zone out halfway through. Some guy was telling me about his tech startup, and I was pretending to laugh, but in my head, I was wondering what Caleb was doing. If he was holding her hand. If she made him laugh like I used to. Mia noticed. You're acting like you're winning, she said one night, but your eyes are saying something else. I rolled them. I'm just living my life. No, she said quietly. You're chasing a ghost. I hated how right she was. The next time I saw him was at Ezra's birthday party. I'd spent an hour getting ready, not too dressy, not too desperate. Perfect lighting. Perfect perfume. Perfect fake confidence. He walked in with her. And I swear, the room tilted for a second. They looked good. Like they fit. But I couldn't let it slide. Not yet. So when she walked off to grab a drink, I found my opening. Caleb, I said, catching him by the arm. He turned, surprised. Hey. I was thinking about you the other day, I lied. Remember that rooftop in March? When we... Harper, he interrupted gently. Don't. I blinked. What? Don't do this. He didn't look angry. Just tired. She's right over there, he added. And I'm with her now. But we had something, I said, a little too loud. You said. He held up his hand. We almost had something. But you didn't want it. I wasn't ready. And now that I've moved on, suddenly you are? He tilted his head. That's not how this works. I felt heat rise to my cheeks. Everyone was laughing and drinking and dancing around us, and I felt like I was drowning in plain sight. I tried to salvage it. I thought we had a chance. Caleb looked at me for a long second. You did, he said quietly. But you gave it away. Then he walked away. Back to her. Again. That night, I got drunk. I mean really drunk. And I did something I still regret. I posted an old photo of us. From last summer. One of those blurry, golden hour shots where we both looked happier than we were. I captioned it, "Miss these moments." Funny how fast people change. And I tagged him. The likes came in fast. So did the text. Caleb, take it down. Me, it's just a memory. Caleb, don't do this. Haley saw it. Me, maybe she should. Caleb, seriously, Harper. Stop. I deleted the post. But not before the damage was done. I'd created a crack. And I felt a sick, awful kind of victory in that. Later that week, I ran into Mia. She took one look at me and sighed. Whatever you're doing, it's not working. I'm fine, I lied again. She crossed her arms. You're not fine. You're spiraling. And Caleb? He's not coming back. I stayed quiet. You had your chance, she said softly. Now you're just burning what's left. But I wasn't ready to stop. Not yet. Lisa's Halloween party was coming up. The biggest event of our friend group, costumes, dancing, drama. Everyone would be there. Including Caleb. And her. I told myself this was my moment. My comeback. My chance to remind him of what we were, of what we could be if he just looked at me the way he used to. I bought a costume I couldn't afford. Black angel wings. A dress that hugged everything. I painted myself in confidence I didn't feel. When I arrived, the music was shaking the walls. Everyone was dancing. Drinking. Laughing. And then I saw him. Caleb. In a goofy costume. Smiling at her like she was the only person in the world. My stomach twisted. 3 drinks later, I made my move. He was alone at the bar. Hey, stranger, I said, brushing his arm. He turned. Harper. You look. He trailed off. Yeah? I smiled. Like you want something, he said flatly. I just wanted to talk. He sighed. Harper, this isn't the time. It's never the time anymore, I snapped. He stepped back. What do you want me to say? That I miss you? That I regret choosing her? I didn't answer. Because that's exactly what I wanted him to say. Instead, he looked at me, really looked, and said something I'll never forget. You only want me now because I'm unavailable. That's not love. That's control. I stared at him. That's not fair. No, he said. What's not fair is expecting me to stay frozen while you figure out what you want. You told me to let go. I did. You don't get to punish me for that. I felt the sting before I could stop it. She's not right for you, I blurted. She's boring. You're settling. His expression darkened. Don't insult her to make yourself feel better, he said. She's not the problem here. You are. That's when she walked up. And I did something unforgivable. I turned to her, pointed at Caleb, and said, "Did he tell you he was in love with me first? That I was his first choice?" Her face crumbled. Caleb's jaw clenched. The silence was deafening. And then he grabbed her hand and said, "We're leaving." I stood frozen, my wings wilting, mascara bleeding. They walked out the door. I had won the moment. But I had lost the war. I woke up the next morning with my phone on my chest and the worst headache of my life. Memories from the Halloween party came back in horrible flashes, the confrontation, the shouting, the look on Caleb's face right before he walked away. And the lie. The one I planted like a landmine. I opened my texts and saw the last message I sent him at 2:14 a.m. Does she know what happened between us last year after the Cooper party? When you were still with your ex? A lie. Nothing happened. Not then. Not ever. But in my drunk, jealous, crumbling mind, it felt like leverage. A way to make her doubt him. A way to get back control. And now? Now I just felt sick. Around dinner time, Mia called. Her voice was cold. "Harper, what the hell did you do?" I couldn't even lie. I messed up. No. You didn't mess up. You detonated. You lied. To hurt two people who did nothing but move on. I was drunk. You were jealous. And now? Everyone knows. Caleb showed the text to the group. My throat tightened. Is Haley okay? She's heartbroken. And furious. Caleb had to spend the entire morning convincing her nothing happened. And the worst part? Mia paused. They believed you. At least for a second. The silence between us stretched like punishment. I don't even recognize you anymore, she whispered. And then she hung up. The next few weeks were brutal. I wasn't invited to anything. No group chats. No memes. No late-night drinks. My phone was silent. Every time I opened social media, I saw them, my old friends, smiling, celebrating, living. Without me. I wanted to scream. I wanted to take it back. But how do you apologize for setting fire to the bridge after you've burned it to ash? Caleb had blocked me. Haley too. And honestly, I couldn't blame them. The silence was deserved. I spent more nights crying on my bathroom floor than I cared to admit. Until one rainy afternoon, I ran into them. At the grocery store. It was one of those cinematic moments, carts crashing, eyes widening, my stomach dropping. They looked normal. Comfortable. She was picking out pasta. He was comparing marinara labels. They weren't avoiding each other. They were together. Caleb looked at me first. Hi. I froze. Hi. Haley looked down. Didn't say a word. I wanted to say something, anything, to explain, to beg, to scream that I wasn't really that person. But I couldn't. She turned the cart and walked away. Caleb lingered. Then he said, gently, "Take care of yourself, Harper." And then he was gone too. A week later, I saw the post. Caleb. On one knee. Ring in hand. On the dock of some beautiful lake house. She said yes. Can't wait to spend forever with my best friend. I stared at the screen until the tears blurred everything. That was supposed to be me. But I ruined it. Every last chance. That night, I called my mom. I don't know why. Maybe because she was the only person left who didn't hate me. I broke down the second she answered. I messed up, Mom, I choked out. Oh, sweetheart, she said softly. What happened? So I told her. Everything. The choices I made. The love I pushed away. The jealousy, the lie, the fallout. The way I became someone I didn't even recognize. I don't know how to fix it, I whispered. She was quiet for a moment. Then said, sometimes we don't fix things. Sometimes we just learn. And promise ourselves we'll never make those same mistakes again. I started therapy the following week. It was awkward. Excruciating. Vulnerable. But necessary. I told my therapist the whole story, expecting sympathy. Instead, she said something that stuck with me more than anything else. You didn't lose Caleb because of bad luck. You lost him because you couldn't handle not being chosen first. You expected him to wait while you explored your options, and when he didn't, you punished him for it. It stung. Because it was true. I wanted everything, freedom, desire, safety, on my timeline. But life doesn't wait for you to be ready. And love doesn't stay on pause while you figure yourself out. 6 weeks into therapy, I got a surprise. A wedding invitation. It was from Ezra. With a handwritten note. We've been friends too long to leave things like this. If you're in a better place, we'd love to see you. An olive branch. Small. But real. At the wedding, I stayed on the edges. No grand entrances. No attention seeking. I spotted Caleb and Haley across the room. She was radiant in emerald green. He was beaming. When there was a quiet moment, I walked up to them. Hi, I said gently. They both turned. Caleb's face unreadable. Haley's a little guarded. I won't stay long. I wanted to say I'm sorry. For everything. The lie. The drama. The pain I caused. Haley was the first to respond. Thank you. Her voice was calm. Cool. But kind. Caleb nodded. I appreciate that. I smiled sadly. That's all. I'll let you enjoy your night. I turned to walk away, and Caleb called out, Harper? I looked back. I hope you're doing okay. It was simple. But it meant everything. Later that night, Mia sat beside me on a bench outside the venue. She nudged me. Proud of you. For what? For not trying to fix the past. For just owning it. I exhaled. It's taken me a long time to realize some things don't get fixed. They just become part of your story. She smiled. And maybe that's okay. Driving home that night, I thought about the moment that started it all. The rooftop kiss. The words that came after. I'm not ready. At the time, I thought I was being brave. Independent. Clear. But really? I was scared. And selfish. I wanted the option of love without the responsibility of timing. I wanted him waiting quietly while I lived loudly. But love doesn't stay in standby mode. People move on. And when they do, they're allowed to. Even if you're finally ready. I'll never get Caleb back. That door is closed. Locked. Painted over with someone else's future. But I can choose who I am now. Not the girl who sabotages what she can't control. Not the girl who weaponizes memory. Not the girl who confuses regret with love. But someone better. Someone honest. Someone who knows that real love doesn't wait, and it shouldn't have to.